Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and when you do, hit that notification bell to join the Bark Mart. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter at ReallyNoob. Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is Captain Shakes, Call of Duty's #1 player with Tourette syndrome, dropping a simple tip video on you. This is going to be episode 1 on a 3-part series on how to raise your KD. Now, these are going to be simple tips. They're going to be tips that you can utilize in your very next game when you play Call of Duty. And the first episode, we are going to focus on gunfights. Now, I'm not going to get into advanced tips like jump shotting and drop shotting, because let's face it, some people cannot do that. Some people cannot get it into their minds to jump shot and drop shot. So these are going to be 3 simple tips, and they will raise your KD right from the start. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now, like I said, these tips are not advanced. They are simple tips that you can use in your very next game of Call of Duty. So the first tip we are going over is manually canceling out your sprint out time. Now, we all know what sprint out time is. It's pretty much the animation before you pull up your gun. If you use quick draw and you come off of sprint, quick draw is pretty much useless, but if you cancel out your sprint out time, you can use quick draw and you can get a step ahead of the game. Now, very simple to manually cancel out your sprint out time. You can do it 2 ways. Number 1, use Gunslinger. Now, I know in the new update we are getting tomorrow with Airborne, Gunslinger is pretty much built into the division. You are able to shoot your gun coming off of sprint. But if you are not using Airborne, you are still going to have to deal with sprint out time. So to manually cancel out your sprint out time, simply press down or pull down on your left thumbstick. Whenever you get into a gunfight, pull down on your left thumbstick towards your body, your stomach, towards the bottom of the controller. That will manually cancel out your sprint out time, therefore making quick draw a very useful perk and using it right. Now, this is not really advanced. You can do this in your very next game of Call of Duty, but I prefer to practice, and I suggest to practice it in maybe a custom lobby with friends or bots. Make sure that whenever you engage in a gunfight, you are pulling down on that left thumbstick. Now, let's go into tip number 2, and that is snap aiming and snapshot. Now, if you do not know what snap aiming is, it's pretty much when you're pulling on the left trigger, or L2 if you're on PlayStation, or L1 if you like to configure your button layout around. It's pretty much the amount of time it takes you to aim and lock onto a target. Now, another thing you can do is center. If you center and keep your crosshairs at the middle of the screen, the amount of time it will take you to lock onto a target will greatly decrease, therefore locking onto a target very quickly. Along with centering, your sensitivity has a lot to do with it. If you have a higher sensitivity, you are going to be able to move onto your target fast, but don't have too high of a sensitivity, otherwise you're going to move right past them. And as far as snapshotting, what snapshotting is basically, instead of dragging your gun after you're killing an enemy to another enemy, instead of dragging it, what you want to do is you want to get out of the ADS animation and you want to snap onto that second target. So pretty much if you run into more than one enemy, let's say 2 or 3 enemies, you want to snap onto one target, kill him, snap off, and then snap on to the second guy, kill him, snap off, and then snap on to the third guy and kill him. Because basically what you want to do is you want to get to the enemies as quick as possible, and when you drag, it just takes forever, especially if you have a low sensitivity, which most players do. I mean, the pros do, and let's be honest, if your sensitivity isn't like above an 8 or a 9, it's going to take forever rather than snapping on to the second target. And let's talk about the third and final tip. Actually, before we go on, let's go over what we have so far. The first one is manually canceling out your sprint out time. You can do that by pressing down on the left thumbstick. Snap aim and snapshot. basically get to your target as quick as possible, and when you're engaging in more than one enemy, snap on to the first one, snap off, and then snap on to the second one, and then snap off. And the third one is when you're in a gunfight, always strafe left to right. Now, it's much easier to do than jump shotting and drop shotting, and when you strafe left to right, you're basically enabling your aim assist rotation, something that is very hard to do in this game, seeing that we hardly have any aim assist at all. But if you strafe left to right or right to left, you are going to enable your aim assist rotation. So basically, when you get in a gunfight, you're ADSing, you're shooting, just wiggle your thumbstick left thumbstick left and right, or basically what other people say is aim with your left thumbstick instead of aiming with your right thumbstick. That way your character will move left to right, and the enemy it'll be harder for you to get shot by the enemy. It'll catch the enemy off guard, and your aim assist rotation will be enabled. Anyways, guys, those are 3 tips to win gunfights and to raise your KD. Now, I am going to upload the second episode, Simple Tips to Raise Your KD. We are going to talk about map positioning, so stay tuned for that, guys. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and when you do, hit that notification bell to join the Bark March, guys. Stay cool, fool, don't hate, eat some cake, thick thighs, and bright eyes, and as always, guys, keep on grinding.